real businesses. They lower good earnings, But the key is just to make sure your money in that 401k is not in the dollar, that it's in real foreign stocks, that the funds are not hedged back to the dollar, that they have non-dollar earnings, and there's no hedging. And chances are, you'll probably be okay with, just putting your money in each one. But I gotta say, check into the one that's in the Caymans and the Bermuda, because chances are there's no companies in the Caymans. There's just funds. So you got to look at where the money actually is.
And I want companies that, if they focus on doing business in East Asia, for example, that'd be great.
That should be very good. And those are the companies that could be very cheap right now. I mean, a lot of the Chinese companies and Asian companies that have a China theme, they've really been beaten up. People have been so afraid. And, of course, there was a lot of leverage in these names. A lot of people were betting on the China growth story because, you know what, it's a great story. And it's real. You'd have to be an idiot not to want to be invested in these stocks. But a lot of people did it with borrowed money, and that was the problem. And so now you have a lot of these shares that are being liquidated for these margin calls and redemptions, but it is a buying opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, there are Chinese companies right now that we're buying that are cheaper than they were 10 years ago. That's crazy. 10 years of economic growth, real economic growth, and you can buy these stocks cheaper now than the people who bought them 10 years ago. These prices will not last. I'm convinced of that.
As for this one that focuses on Germany, Japan, UK, Switzerland, it seems kind of heavy in Europe. Is Europe a place generally to stay away?
Well, look, again, some of those, the companies might be outside of Europe. But look, I think Europe, I've been investing in Scandinavia and Switzerland and places. I think that Europe will benefit from the demise of the dollar. I think the euro will benefit, and I think Europe is in better shape. But look, Europe has problems too. That's why I underweight it as a region, but I'm still there. I like Asia, and I've got more money in, the resource economies.
I see.
All right. Well, thanks for your call. I got two more callers and only about 7 minutes left.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, let me go to Addie from Florida.
Hi, Peter. How are you?
Well, how are you?
Good, good. I apologize for my voice. I have a few currency-related questions. The G20 that's been talking about a global money standard and keeping in mind this massive print fest that's underway now here in the U.S., are the U.S. and the rest of the world trying to get us to that standard by doing all of this printing? I know the other countries aren't printing as much, but I read today also that China, they were lowering rates today. They're closing factories, and their unemployment is also on the rise.
Look, everybody is doing this. The whole world is inflating. But, I mean, we're the root cause of it all, but, everybody is doing it. And, this is the most inflationary time period in world history, and everybody is debasing money. But at some point, the world is going to stop it. They're going to stop buying dollars. They're going to stop subsidizing our economy because we're going to make it too expensive for them to do it. Remember, they're the ones that have to finance all these bailouts. And every time we do another stimulus and bailout, it's the Chinese and the Japanese who are expected to foot the bill. And we are going to make propping up the U.S. economy so damn expensive that they're going to have no choice but to not do it anymore.
Right, right. Well, I guess I wasn't really sure how to ask this question because I'm not clear on shorting the market. But do you think that people are purposefully shorting the market to kind of get us into a crisis mode?
No, I don't think so. And I also don't think that there's a lot of reasons to short the market now. I mean, we've had such a big decline that I definitely think there's a lot more money to be made going long, particularly these international stocks, than trying to short U.S. stocks. I mean, for a while I was, telling people if you wanted to gamble, you can short the financials, short the home builders, short stocks. But we've had such a big drop in these stocks that all that easy money has been made on the short side. I think the easy money to be made now is on the long side. But I would not be going on the long side of the U.S. market. There's not enough upside there. You want to be going long on these foreign stocks. I mean, I've never seen buying opportunities like this. I've been a broker for over 20 years. I've never seen valuations like this, ever. And I've also never seen a situation, you had this huge rally in the dollar at the time where the dollar should be falling through the floor. And it will. I mean, this is just, instead of other people are jumping to the false conclusion that the fact that the dollar is rallying now, that it's going to rally forever and that we can print all this money without any ramifications. That's wrong. The markets are often wrong, and they fool people, and that's what's happening right now with this dollar rally. We need to keep our senses, keep our minds focused on the real problem, and tune out all this noise and understand that the only real direction for the dollar is down, and it's going to go down big.
Right, and I understand that, but you think or not that we're going to go to a global money standard? Or
no, I don't think we're going to. I think if anything, we're going to go back to the gold standard. I think more and more central banks around the world will adopt gold as a reserve instead of the dollar, and I think in the future the world will have sounder money than they do today. But I don't think we're going to have one world currency, like a paper currency that everybody uses. Okay. Anyway, thanks a lot. I got to quickly go to my last caller, Fan Ying. He's an old-time caller from New York.
Hello, Peter. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
My boss has asked me about the possibility of opening up a Canadian bank account so we can to store Canadian dollars or dividends.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't do that.
Right, so you can actually do that?
Not through me, but you can go up to Canada and open up a bank account.
Okay, so you actually have to go physically there and open up.
I'm pretty sure you've got to be there in person, but maybe you can do it over the phone. I mean, I don't know. I've never tried. I don't have a Canadian bank account myself, but I know there are people that open them up.
Because we're so close to the Canadian borders that it's only a couple hours away driving.
Yeah, look, if you're going to have, at least if you open up a Canadian bank account, you'll have Canadian dollars.
Right. Well, just have some, and
yeah. And you can have a safety deposit box up there. I'd much rather if you want to keep gold coins in a safety deposit box, I'd rather keep them in a box up in Canada than down in the States. You might never be able to get them out. If the government makes it illegal to own gold, you won't be able to get your gold out of your safety deposit box. The government won't let you.
Right. And my boss also asked me about why does he keep when you get dividends why you repatriate them back to dollars? He doesn't understand.
Oh, in our accounts?
Yes.
Well, that's the default option. If you wanted, you can have them come in the currency in which they're earned. But, the problem is most of the clients, let's say you have 8 different currencies, you're going to have little bits of money in each currency, and generally our clients want one or two things. They want the dividend sent to them, which means it's easier to keep them in dollars if we can't send you out these foreign currencies. And for the clients who leave them in the account, ultimately what they want to do is reinvest them. And what happens is, you get your dividends, and generally what would happen is we would invest the dividends in maybe one stock or, depending on when you do it. But if you have 8 currencies, then you got to sell all those currencies and get the other currencies that you need to buy the stock. And so you end up with all these transactions, all these taxable events, and it complicates everything. So to me, it seems to be a lot easier to keep the dividends in dollars. It's simpler, and, they don't stay there very long because we generally try to reinvest them if the clients don't need them. But it just makes life easier. But if you want the foreign currencies, you just got to let your broker know, and we can put instructions in that all dividends in your account are to be held in foreign currencies and not converted.
One more question is there a faster way I can send money from my regular bank account to Europac? Because it often takes a week. I think you can. Well, I think you
can set up one of these check by phones or some kind of direct deposit. I think there's ways that you can do it. I think there are even people that have money automatically sent to their Europac account, on a regular basis.
Yeah, because
but check with your broker. They can look into the things that you can do, because I know there are things that you can do.
Yeah, because I know with my other
Anyway, I'm on my last minute now, so I just, like I said, pick up the conversation with your rep. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. I will be back. I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm going to be doing the show next week. I will be in my Los Angeles office on Wednesday, so I'll probably be able to do the show from L.A. I'm going to be heading down there for a couple of days after I do the San Francisco Hard Asset Conference. So I'll see many of you at that conference. If not, maybe we'll see you at the next one. Anyway, again, thanks for listening this time. If you haven't seen that YouTube clip, make sure to look for it. Peter Schiff was right on YouTube. Over 625,000 views this week. Make sure to go to the website, www.europac.net. Call and open up an account if you haven't done one. 800-727-7922. 800-727-7922. So long, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving.